It is that time, ladies and gentlemen, man. Welcome back. I'm your host, Dwayne Cofield. This is Drug Dealers to Businessmen podcast. This is actually September 26, 2023. This is the weekly tap in, and I'm tapping in. What's good, family? Just trying to stay consistent, baby. Let's get it, right? Man, just checking my traps, making sure we're doing everything we're supposed to do. So, man, if you know what to do, man, your first time here, make sure you hit the notification, subscribe buttons down yonder, man. Go ahead and leave your comments down there too, man. Where you tapping in from? This is your first time tapping in. Those who are listening on the replay, man, we certainly appreciate you guys, man. 100%, man. 1,000 wow. As a matter of fact, as they say, as my boy 40 Water says. 1,000 wow, man. Shout out to what they doing for him up in the Bay, man. That's another testament to show you guys, man, that anything is possible, man. This dude was talking about slanging yayo, right? Now he's a restaurateur. What's going on, Joe? A restaurateur, a food supplier, ice cream, wine, spirits, and they honoring him. They did a drone show for this cat, man, which was bananas, right? They did a drone show for him, and he was, you know what I'm saying? That's just you never know when they're gonna give you your flowers. You never know when you're gonna get your shine, but everybody gets it. That's what I'm really like trying to stress to people. Like, man, stay in the game so that you don't miss your time. It's coming. Don't trip. It's coming. It's written for you, man. It's written in stone. God would not steer you wrong. Just stay the course. I'm finding that fabric sewn in every success story that I've ever heard was don't quit. It's gonna get ugly, it's gonna get scary, it's gonna get all that, but do not quit, man. So this is episode number 7 of season 5, man. Episode number 7. Go learn how, right? And what that means is, like right now, we're in the information age, right? We're not in the industrial, like they have this. I'm putting on my teacher hat again, of course, but they had different eras. They had the industrial era, the sales era, the marketing era, the knowledge era, and now we're in the information era, right? So where information is in abundance. When I mentioned all those other things, industrial was about manufacturing, and this is why you got to be careful who you ask about what you should do, right? Because you gotta factor in what era they're coming from, right? And what success meant at that time, what was popular during that time, all those things you got to factor in because that's their advice is coming from that, right? So if you're not going there, unless you're going backwards in time, it's really difficult. Now, a lot of things repeat. Now, we'll put that caveat in there. A lot of things do repeat. So, I mean, I'm not to say the sage's advice isn't worth it, but you just have to understand where you're going and understand what you need to get there, right? So if you don't know, go learn how. That's it sounds basic, but what stops us? Let's talk about some of our obstacles first. What stops us from saying, I don't know how to do something, right? A lot of times it's pride. I'm seeing people and this is the thing, like I'm a professor, I do business and I'm not the most successful business person yet. And I always put that in there yet. It's coming though, right? But there's times I see people in business and I want to say something and I'm like, man, I check my ego. I'm like, you don't know their path. You don't know how God's may make this part of what their journey is. So shut up. And I'm quiet. I just, I don't need to come in and say anything. If somebody comes and asks me for advice, of course, I'm like, here you go. But I don't need to say anything. I need to watch them go through their progression in life because all of that's part of the process, right? Everything is part of the process. Failure, disappointment, running out of money, all that's and this is stuff that I'm experiencing. I mean, I'm like, I'm trying to put a restaurant together, man. I'm running out of bread. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and I'm being honest. Like this is part of my success story. It wouldn't be a success story had it not had any speed bumps, roadblocks, detours, buses pulling in front of you, car engines falling out. It wouldn't be a success story. I wouldn't be here talking about tenacity, right? One of the things that I assigned my students this week was to watch, and this is for the homies too, watch A Million Miles from Here on Prime Video about the Jose Rodriguez astronaut. I mean, a powerful story about tenacity, getting denied from NASA 12 times, and the things that he went and learned how to do in order to become a successful candidate. That's sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? That's really like, I'm doing this. I don't care what's stopping me. I'm not going in blindly going to try to, put myself in a, debt or whatever, but I'm doing this and I'm going to learn I'm jumping, right? And I'll learn everything on the way down, right? I'm on my Will Smith shit. But that's what he said. He said when he got to Hollywood, he jumped and learned on the way down. He wasn't a trained actor, right? He was a rapper, but he found similarities in what they did and he jumped and figured it out, and everything else worked out. He met a girl who knew somebody, and that's how success works, man. You just got to trust the universe sometimes and get yourself out there. And what you don't know, you'll get, right? The universe provides. Anytime you look a certain direction, if you look hard enough, you find it. That's the thing, whether it's drama or something from a positive standpoint. Whatever you're looking for, you're going to find. So if you're looking for success stories about restaurateurs or entrepreneurs, you'll find them. And you'll find the one that matches you. You'll be like, oh, I got a lot of similarities to this cat. My story sounds really similar to this cat. Right. So look for what do you need? You have to show a desire and more importantly, start walking towards it, even if it doesn't look like it's so far away that you can't even see it. You got to start walking and saying, what do I need to learn on the way? I don't know what this may lead to. It may lead to something else, may lead to something else, may lead to something else. But I'm starting to walk the path, right? And it takes the first step. But what stops us? Back to that. What stops us? It's other people sometimes. And if we give them that much power, man, damn, why are we doing that? But oftentimes we do. Hey, man, do you know how? And we ask our immediate circle, and we realize that our immediate circle may not give us that kind of advice. But we ask our immediate circle, and then we get disappointed and frustrated when they don't give us the answer that we're looking for, right? Because they may not know. The main thing about learning is knowing where to go for the answers, right? And knowing what question to ask. All the answers are here. Everything is a Google search away. But what do I ask? Where do I start? Right? We talked about business structure a little bit last time, right? But positioning, so right, this is some of the things that we're talking about in my class right now. In both class, my consumer behavior and my principles class, we're talking about positioning, product positioning. What does this mean in the mind of the consumer? Right? That's a different level of thinking. So if you don't know about product positioning, you can look it up on YouTube. You can look it up on and this is the thing about God. God works in his ways, the way he gets down is such a suggestive, subtle manner that you may pick up positioning on a commercial. You may pick it up on a news story. Somebody may be randomly talking about it in your ear hustling before class or whatever the case may be. But you get wind of it. That's God sending you the message. You got to act on those. If you got a phone, write it in your notes, man. Let me look this up. It was an exercise that he gave me when I was listening to this podcast about 2 weeks ago. And I slept on and it started with an E. I know that. And it's supposed to be these bands to help you protect your joints as you get older and you still want to lift weights. And I didn't get it, but it was for me at that time, right? Because I was having some joint problems or whatever the case may be. So these messages are designed for you, but oftentimes we ignore them, right? And there are opportunities to pick it up and learn. Okay, so boom, let me go ahead and Google that. But we get stuck, right? And we go to our peers, or we don't know what we don't know. And this is why exploration and showing up is such an important part of the process. You have to show up to things that may intimidate you. You have to go to these things, right? And they may cost a little bit of money. They may be what's going on, Steven? Appreciate you tapping in, man. They may be require a little investment of both time and money, right? This is how you learn. And most things you can learn for free. But it's not so much that you're paying for the experience to go learn, you're paying for the experience to get in there and wiggle, right? You may want to go find out if there's an industry or trade association, right? Restaurateurs, I'm speaking in our own sense, and find out if there's an association meeting, right? It might be in Minnesota, it might be in Texas, might be somewhere where you wanted to go anyways, man. Go spend a little $700 if you got it. This is an investment, right? To find out what they're talking about. There might be committees. There's networking opportunities there, right? And when you networking, man, you don't want to talk about what they can do for you. You always want to talk about, is there anything I can do for you? Can I connect you with anybody? And we'll have a whole nother conversation about networking and the proper way of doing it, because there is a way to do it, right? That's effective, right? The person who does the introduction is a lot more effective than those who are being introduced. Think about that. It's really powerful. So, with that being said, right, we need to invest in our learning, right? We can get count of how much food we buy. We can get count of how much cologne we buy, shirts, we if we're frequent shoppers, Amazon orders, but how much are we investing in our education? And it doesn't have to always come in the form of reading. I know some people don't like reading. I get it. But there's other ways to inform yourself, right? And be able to still absorb that information. You can buy Audible books. You can subscribe to certain people. You can go to certain podcasts, right? You can go to events, networking events, industry specific events. And this is the thing, right? So when we talk about ourselves, there's two selves, right? There's the who we actually are and who we desire to be. And that's the key right there, right? So if we desire to be a business person, we desire to be a business owner, whatever we desire to be, we still have to start acting as if we already are. So we have to start moving like that. We have to start dressing like that. We have to start speaking like that, right? I find myself in a crossroad, not so much anymore because I don't have a lot of those conversations anymore. I have more I'm older now. I have more of those type of conversations, right? I don't have the hood type conversations where I got to say certain things or whatever the case. I don't have those conversations anymore. So it's one of those things where it's out of sight, out of mind. As we talk about what we need to learn, there's some things that we need to unlearn as well. Right? Cussing all the time. It's a turn off. I used to cuss a lot, but I don't cuss that much anymore. So when I hear other people cuss, I'm like, man, could I have used a better word? So my language needs to change, right? If I want my life to change, it starts with the small things, right? I need to learn how to use most of the time when people cuss a lot, it's usually because of their lack of vocabulary. It's because they don't know what to say, so if they think a cuss word sounds better or cooler, right? This is where reading comes in and understanding more appropriate words, right? I hit somebody with a timid the other day at football practice. He was like, "Yeah, that's a perfect word for that." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's because you got to read, right?" And I didn't understand it. I'm like, "Man, reading, no, it's going to stretch you. It might be a word here, it might be a word there, right? It might be the smallest things, but you see it over and over again. Benevolent, right? Just these words that you'll see all the time, and you're like, what in the world does that word mean? You got to go look it up and get in the habit of looking it up, and then it starts to become second nature as you start to see it more and more used, right? So one thing we can learn how to do is increase our vocabulary, right? And at the same time, whatever the situation that we don't know, right? There's a industry, like the restaurant industry. I had no idea. None of my families worked in restaurant. My uncle Allen did. My uncle Allen ran the Admiral Kid Club in San Diego. Shout out to my uncle Allen, RIP, right? He ran the Admiral Kid Club in San Diego, which was an officers lounge. But I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't involved or anything. He used to just let us go over there and fish. And it was popping, by the way. But nonetheless, I didn't have any restaurant experience. So what I did was I went and learned. I went and took the little thing that you have to. I went and worked at a little, not a little, man. Shout out to my guy Brandon, man. Not a little at all. I went and worked at a burger restaurant and went and put in hours and saw how it worked. And the entire time I was learning, right? They're paying me to learn. I'm like, man, God is good, right? Not hustling anybody, being upfront with what you're doing. You be honest, man, I'm here to learn. I'm here to really, really understand how this stuff works. I learned about par levels. I learned about temperatures. I learned about holding temperatures. I've learned about the freezer, thawing things out, how to thaw them out, what to clean, what to have on the floor, what can't be on the floor. All these different things I went and learned. It was most of it was free, and some of it I got paid for, which is crazy, right? But the thing about it is, you have to have an eagerness. You have to have a desire and a want to do it. It's not going to float to you, man. The idea and the suggestion may float to you, but the work is sold separately, right? So that's where you got to start putting in, hey, man, what kind of time do I put in? So we talked about that 20 gets you one, right? When we talked about 20% 20 minutes a week could get you 20 minutes a day, get you 1% a week. This is all it takes. Do a little bit of research. I got my restaurant book right there. I have a book that I bought on Audible that talks about from a CPA standpoint, how to prepare, setting up, take out. When I can't help but advance. And then all I need to do is add a little bit more experience. We've catered, we've cooked, we've done events. I've lifted that fryer I don't know how many times. I've put in the work. I'm still continuously putting in the work to learn more and more. Now I've done the construction side of it. So I'm learning what the build outs look like, how long the build outs take, what to negotiate on a commercial lease. I didn't know any of this stuff, dog. None of it. Zero, zilch. Had no idea. Was hating on cats because they worked at McDonald's. And I didn't. I never got there. I was selling rocks, dog. Period. You know what I'm saying? So I never got the experience of working at McDonald's, which was, I would say, one of my biggest disappointments is not learning a system like that. Because that if you do it right and you're in the right position and your right frame of mind, that's a setup to make you rich. To go in there and learn processes and systems, right? I didn't know anything about teaching. Nothing. A professor, man, what? All I knew was I was a student and I didn't like certain professors because they did XYZ or they didn't do XYZ. That was it. Other than that, I didn't have any idea. I didn't know how to prepare lessons. I didn't know how to create activities. I didn't know how to break up the lessons. I didn't know how to teach certain things. This was difficult. But I went out to College of the Canyons, did an internship for like 2 or 3 months, every day of the week. Had to drive to the valley and learn how to teach. You feel me? So when I say like you gotta and keep in mind, when I first tried to teach, man, Southwest College, which is right around the corner from my house, wouldn't give me the time of day. Certain you can't quit. If the idea is planted in you, go learn it. Period. It's out there. The information's out there. Go learn it. And if you don't know how to go find out stuff, man, go to the start with the library and Google. Those two right there, you start with the library and Google. Okay, how do I? If you need more stuff to where like, man, this phone's tripping or I don't have internet, okay, go to the library. I'm sure there's a local library. There has to be. And if there's not a local library, you probably should move. There should they like these are really, really important things, especially for cats who may be coming home from the pen, who may not necessarily have the finances to do certain things. Right. This is where these services really kick in and take full advantage of, right? Because they're the same tools that the rich have now. The playing field's getting a little bit more level, right? Granted, now I'm not making that sound simplified to where it seems like we can just catch up to people who have long money. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, uh, uh, outside of barriers to entry, if it's not where you're not trying to create or build an automobile plant or you're building a soda factory, if you're building businesses or you have an idea, you can start it. You can create it. You can register your business name. You can do all that stuff. You can create a logo on Canva. You can build a store on not Spotify, what is it? Shopify. You can do all these things in real time and then start selling, improving your concept. That's the one thing a lot of people are scared to do, right? They'll put up 1,000 excuses of why that, man, I don't even like school. The thing about life and learning is you either adapt or die. So you either learn how to survive in new environments, or you watch you and your old one shrivel away. It's real simple. It's real simple. And that's the thing when people tell me, man, I don't like school. Listen, man, it's not even a matter of school. It's a matter of adaptation. You need to learn how to adapt in this new environment. And right now, school's talking about artificial intelligence and chat GPT and different things, right? And I ain't talking traditional stuff, but these are the things that the topic of conversations right now. So if that's the case, if we're talking AI and you still talking about, man, I need the internet, homie, we moving on. Like that's already here. Now we're talking about making this stuff think for us. We're not doing the searches anymore. We're telling it what to go search and it's coming back with everything we need, right? Written and all that, right? So when we talk about just artificial intelligence, go learn that. Go learn machine learning. Go learn analytics. All these things are available. You can get certified them and they're free. If you don't understand it, so what? Right now, you can figure it out. You have a brain. Don't let somebody, oh man, my fourth grade teacher told me, man, nobody gives a shit what she or I had my entire childhood, I had horrible teachers the entire time. It was trash. So I don't believe in what they told me. I've proven it to myself now that I know how to learn. I'm a perpetual student. I'm willing to sacrifice, get into it, and really, really dig into something pretty deep. Right now, I'm still in statistics with on Khan Academy. I've taken statistics 3 times. I already got my grade, but I need to sharpen up. Why? I think it's for me in this GMAT so that I can get my PhD. But in reality, it's for my kids so that when they come up, which is not far from now, they're not gonna. I'm not gonna be shocked when they start bringing this stuff around. I'll be like, here you go. This is a resource. This is how you need to think about it. This is what you should do because I just recently did it. God, a lot of times, God may make you think that you're learning for yourself when you're actually learning for something much greater than you. That's a hard pill to swallow if you're really fond of your ego. But when we learn for other people, learn to teach. That's the key. And even when we're doing business, right? I can teach now. You feel what I'm saying? I can show people now, like, here, homie, this is okay for a build out. This is what we're gonna need. An ADA bathroom. You're gonna need to build you. Okay, how's your electrical? Is there plumbing already in here? These are questions that I would tell people. Okay, how's the foot traffic? What's it look like? How many parking spaces you getting? What's the triple in? What's the original? How much you paying for square footage? Then, from a transportation standpoint, man, is your bus ready? How many seats do you have in here? Do you have fire extinguishers? Are the fire extinguisher the are the emergency exits with stickers on them so people know how to get out of them? Do they you have step by all this stuff I had to learn. I had to learn it from a highway patrol. I got to learn this stuff from the health inspector. But it doesn't stop. I'm not retired. I'm not looking for no retirement. I'm looking for more opportunities. That's what we doing with life, dog. We maxing this shit out, homie. We trying everything we can. I'll get to it tomorrow. You act like you guaranteed tomorrow, homie. You don't know what's gonna happen, so you might as well get to it today. Get to it tonight. Get to it right now. Ain't no present time. I mean, unless they close, call them. Unless they close, look it up. Unless they closed, even if they is closed, so what? Get the information printed out. Oh man, I ain't got. Don't make excuses. Make some money, dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear excuses. Those are tools for who? You already know. I ain't got to even go there. But go make something happen. The universe likes energy and motion. Period. It does not like somebody who's in a sedentary position. Man, it's mad at me that I'm sitting here this damn long. Like, you supposed to be active and moving, man. You got stuff to do. I'm like, I know that's right. But the one thing I got to do is talk to my partners first thing and motivate myself at the same time. So, what do you want to learn? What's next? You need to want to learn how to get a liquor store? Go pull in one. They probably ain't going to tell you shit, which is all the more reason to make you want to go learn it on your own. Right? I've asked people stuff. Man, I asked this chicken restaurant for help. I'm like, man, what y'all, how y'all keep your macaroni? They like, man, just give me the Heisman. Like, okay, we ain't gonna tell you nothing. I'm like, all right, cool. The less you tell me, The more I'm forced to go learn, you actually giving me a blessing. Where you think I'm thinking, and the average person, oh man, they did. Listen, man, God don't, man. Long as God here, I ain't even tripping off of humans. Period. Me and God got that kind of relationship. Whatever I need is if it ain't already here, it's on the way. And you got to have that confidence too. Like, man, whatever I don't know, I just need to step out there, attract it, and I'll learn it. And think about Will Smith in terms of that jump. He had to jump. You have to. The problem is most of us won't even jump to or willing to embarrass ourselves to learn something. We like, man, I'd rather keep my reputation as being modest. I'd rather live my life safe. And there's so many people that live their life say, I'm just live safe, man. Why not enjoy it? If you like safety, that's cool. I do too on certain things, roller coasters and whatnot, but not in life. I want to try something. Excitement is in the journey, not in the prize. The prize is nothing. Once you achieve it, it's anticlimactic. It's the journey, it's the struggle, it's the high, the lows, the everything that comes along with that. What you learn in the process. Like, oh, I didn't even know how that worked. I thought it was more difficult than it was, but it's actually not as hard as I think it is. Oh, let me try this. And this is how people, when they start one business, they kind of spawn into other ones, right? Because they see it's not that difficult and they figure out the recipe. All I have to do is duplicate or do this over here, and it should have the same results. Or I have to do this over here. The thing about the college, one of the reasons why I stay up there and stay teaching at the university level is because they have a ton of resources, databases. I mean, you can look up so many different things. There's a thing called, and I think I've showed you guys on other podcasts. Um, oh my God, Simply Analytics, where you're able to look at all the analytics in the neighborhood and everything and where you're going. So I was able to look at the neighborhood. We opened up the spot at the restaurant, uh, all that. Looked at the demographic, how often they eat, what they eat, the whole nine, because I'm there. And I'm constantly talking about it on a day-to-day basis, talking about marketing, the marketing mix, segmentation, positioning, right? Global markets, understanding culture, consumer behavior, all this stuff on a day-to-day basis. I can't help it. So God has blessed me in that sense, but I had to go learn something or I would have never got the opportunity. Never. Because each one of these opportunities said they wanted experience, but I didn't have it. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have credentials. I had my experience from the business side and I had a master's degree. And that's what got me in the door. So I say all that to say, you got to sacrifice something to go learn, man. You might have to go, uh, you go wherever the information is, period. Right. And sometimes that may mean you can't go outside and post, right? Sometimes that means you got to give some certain things. No, I'm gonna just stay in the crib, dog. I need to figure this out. Or I don't know a recipe, right? I've never made Mexican food. Get your ass in the kitchen and start learning guacamole. Make a bunch of mistakes until you figure out that recipe where you like, damn, this tastes like Rubio's or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And you keep practicing, right? We talked about the importance of practice, how important practice is. And you have to get started. I don't care. You may not be able to kick, but even you like, man, I want to kick as high as Bruce Lee, man, because next time I see this cat, man, I'm gonna just kick the shit. You know what I'm saying? And you just want to kick somebody, right in the mouth. But you can't kick past somebody's knee right now. Go work. Go pull up YouTubes, figure out stretches, and keep practicing. Don't quit. Keep practicing. Put in your reps over and over and over and over again. I promise you, you will see results eventually. Next thing you know, you're kicking as high as the stomach. Next after that, no, I got next shot. Okay, I'm almost there. And you remember where you started, right? I was going to talk about this episode, talking about daily deposits. Those are important, right? What did I learn? Okay, let me start working on it just an inch at a time. I don't need a whole bunch, just a little bit, right? I don't want it to throw me off or feel like it consumes me. Because sometimes when you're consumed by your dream, you start to resent that shit. I don't even need no. I'd rather just go to work and get this check until it get ugly. and you see this cat over here bubbling, right? And you realize, okay, there's a reason why I was going after this dream in the first damn place. And don't let a little bit of disturbance or resistance steer you from that. Because we oftentimes we let that happen, man. We a little bit of resistance throw us off our path and we tapping out. We done now. Nah, man, I'm good. I'ma just do this. I'm not just doing a damn thing. I'm pushing the line. I'm trying to build these businesses for these kids. That's really it, right? That we can create more jobs. Period. Not only for my family, for neighborhood cats too. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? And then on to the next. I'm trying to learn something else. I may learn about flight school, right? The homie talking about truck driving school. I don't know about that. It ain't nothing to learn now, right? It ain't nothing but a Google search how you start a trucking school. Well, you need to get a license. Okay, well, how you get a license? Well, you need to get property. Do we need to lease first or do we lease after? Well, you need to do, okay, well, how many needs do I need? And then once I figure out how many needs I need, then I get cracking. Okay, I'm learning. Okay, I need these steps. I got to do these 5 steps. I need a CDL. I need $1 million insurance. I need that. Okay, let me call insurance. How much is $1 million insurance? Oh, it's 10 bands a month. Okay, well that's what. At least you know what you got to work with. You're like, okay, so can I get a loan? Do they got loans and grants for minority business? You start to do your stuff, right? And you start to try, man. Look, the whole time you're learning. What's it take? But the one thing you really, really learning is tenacity. Not accepting no. Not accepting not right. Nah, dog. Not accepting difficulties and red tape. That's all it is. It's an illusion. It ain't nothing more than that. It's an illusion. It's there to try to prevent you from seeing it or moving towards it. That's it. And if I can distract you, this is what the enemy always says. If I can get you mentally to where you quit yourself, it's your idea. This is BS, homie. I don't feel like doing all. And that's usually what happens. And then cats, well, I'ma just go. And of course, somebody's always who also doesn't have anything else to do is posted right there waiting on you as well. Almost like the damn devil himself. Sitting there like, come on, homie, I got you. Yeah, man. F school, man. You don't need that stuff. Most of them cats fail anyway. You feel me? You feel me? And they, you know how they do. You feel me? Nigga, nah. I don't feel you, homie. Buzzard. You feel that? And you gotta look at them that same way, especially when somebody kind of suggesting doubt. You feel me? No, I'm not. Hell nah, I don't. I feel my dream. I feel like getting away from you. I feel like going to the library. I feel like enhancing my vocabulary. So let me grab me a book, right? Period. Let me invest in myself. How much you put on yourself lately, and not on no jewelry, not on no clothes, none of that stuff. What you put on your mind? How much? Talking about my son's football helmet, right? And the cat had to pull my coattail, like, man, well, you don't spend no money on his brain. Like, man, that was a wake up call. You know what I'm saying? And you think about that, right? We invest in everything else. We invest in somebody with a bullshit ass story, but we hesitate on investing in ourselves. Ah, man, $20 for a buck. Ugh. What you mean? Ugh. Read it. It might get you 20 bands. It might get you 20 million. It might get you 20 minutes with somebody who's influential. You don't know what it's going to get you, but if the fact that it's in your face means that God sent it, right? And this is where a lot of people miss it. They thinking it just ran. Nah, man, he's this guy. When the message is right and right on time, and you like, you don't have an explanation for it. You know who sent you. You know who sent that, right? You know who's on your side. You know who comes when you actually need it. So what is it we need to learn? Damn, what's the names of giving out free seminar? You need to learn accounting. Why do you need to learn accounting? You need to figure out what you need to learn. I need to know business management. Do you? Do I need to figure out what you need to learn? What don't you know? What you think you need? Right? Because you don't need to know everything. That's for sure. There's people out in the world that are way better at certain things than you are. So you don't need to be the master of all things. But what do you need to learn? Right? Do you need to learn customer service? You realize that you're trash at customer service. Do you need to know marketing? Do you need to understand how Canva can work, right? Because We're at the point we don't need graphic designers like we did. We can design a lot of stuff ourselves. So what do you need to learn? You need to learn Canva. There's plenty of YouTubes on that. What do you need to learn? You need to learn a recipe. There's plenty of YouTubes on that. And you can change things how you want to. That's the beauty. And you can be selective and craft your own and curate your own syllabus. What do you want to learn? What are you short at? Right? Oh man, I know how to do this, but the marketing. Okay, well, there's plenty of tools for that. You need to learn traditional marketing, right? Event marketing, digital marketing, social media marketing, direct mail, print. What part of it do you want to know? And that's the key. So you can start drilling down. I didn't even know there was that many options for marketing. Okay, well, radio, television, those are traditional. Start talking digital, then you might talking a little bit different, right? Email, mobile, display, right? Search. There's so many different facets to all these different things, but the key is drilling down and saying, I need to start here. I don't know how to do this, right? We talked about structure. So that's kind of out of the way. I've talked about that twice. Now the key is strategy. What what or situation analysis? Where am I? Right? When we talk about SWOT analysis, which is involved in your situation analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Right? It's the acronym for it. So strengths and weaknesses are internal. Opportunities and threats are external. So strength and weaknesses, what am I good at? I'm a really good organizer, or I'm a really good idea person, or I'm a really good person that follows through. My weaknesses are I'm unorganized. I don't have, I doubt myself a lot, or whatever the case may be. My opportunities are restaurateur, and you just go through an analysis to see where you currently are. And then once you see where you are, you'll say, okay, my opportunities should turn into, or my weaknesses should turn into opportunities if I focus on them. So if I know that I'm weak at a certain thing, or that I know my math, I'm not really good at math, or I haven't been, right? Watch how you describe yourself. Or I haven't been that good at math, then you could work on that. Focus on that, drill down, and make it a 1% thing. Khan Academy is such a thing because it almost takes you back to childhood. That teacher that we should have had, who would take their time, do a video, allow us to go over it, rewind it, pause it, go back over it again, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the key, right? So learning is a never ending process, right? All the material that we think we that we think we can't get to. One of the things that Generation Z is proving to me is most of the stuff is online and there's a PDF for it. Somebody turned it to a PDF somewhere. So whatever it is that you desire to learn, I promise you, go learn it. Start with a Google search. That's it. And let yourself go down a rabbit hole of information, and don't stop until you get the answer you're looking for. Don't stop until you get the program you're looking for. Don't stop until you get the event you're looking for. I don't care if it's in Phoenix, right? That might be worth the 6-hour drive if you're in LA. Doesn't matter, right? You want to go where the information is, where God is suggesting that you go to. You dig? So, what am I reading right now? Right now, I am listening to Restaurant Success, which is a book about restaurants because I'm re-listening to it. I just finished the meditation. So let me show you guys. Always want to give you guys a little something to read. Let me just pull it up. So man, yeah, man, if you got special requests on something that I didn't cover, make sure you guys tap in, send me a message, put it in the chat. I will cover it next time. I know Chat GPT is a sexy topic. I like to cover more of that so I can show you guys, man, you could do so much with Chat GPT, homie. I promise and like, listen, man, I tell no lies, man. You can have it writing stuff. I mean, you should look over the stuff, but it will do a lot. I mean, a lot. So yeah, so Meditations by Marcus Aurelius is what I was listening to a while ago. Listen to Outliers. I'm almost finished with that again. And where is it? Show you restaurant. I miss it. I might be over here. Let's see. I got a lot on here, man. And that's the thing. So this is, I don't just talk. There it goes right here. So restaurant success by the numbers is what I'm reading. You guys can pause it and look at some of these other titles. They're really good too. Wouldn't steer you wrong on that. But yeah, man, that's about it. So make sure you guys tap in next week. Make sure you share this with anybody who you think may benefit from it, and have yourself a wonderful, productive week. Tapping out.